Hi friends, welcome to the channel. This is your Govindraj. In the previous videos, I already indicated about this 1.16% additional contribution for those employees who opt for higher pension option. In fact, this is not a very new news. Even from the Supreme Court judgment during November, and in the latest videos, I already talked about this additional contribution of 1.16%, which is going to be additional burden in the hands of employees, though it is getting adjusted from employer contribution, but the money which is going to higher pension will be larger to the extent of 1.16%. Now this news is official. You must have already read in the news that the EPFO is already informed via circulars, and the central government has brought amendments to Code on Social Security, which is very related to employees pension scheme and employees provident fund. Now, before getting into these details, let me give you a certain background. See, if you look at the Provident Fund, both employer and employee contributes 12% each to Provident Fund. And currently, out of employer contribution, 8.33% is getting remitted to the EPS account for eligible employees. And this is as per para 3 of the EPS scheme 1995. However, if the EPF wages exceeds 15,000 rupees, the EPS contribution is limited to the wage ceiling of 15,000 rupees. And the difference contribution is actually getting diverted to EPF account. Now, during 2014, important amendments were brought for para 3 and 11 of EPS scheme, and these amendments have actually made additional contribution of 1.16% for wages exceeding 15k in the hands of employees for those who opt for contribution on actual wages to EPS, because the previous to 19/2014 there was a possibility to contribute EPS and actual wages, and this was the provision which actually created an option for higher pension option for all the eligible employees who were there before 1/9/2014. Now let me show you this EPS scheme, especially paragraph 3, and in the paragraph 3 subclass 2, this is already stated that the government is going to pay 1.16% additional contribution also for this EPS fund. But whereas paragraph 11.4, which made the amendment during 2014, this additional contribution of 1.16% for those employees who opt for higher pension option, for them the wages beyond 15,000 rupees, this 1.16% contribution is put on the employees level, or the employee is required to pay this additional contribution of 1.16%. Now this is the changes were brought in 2014, but when this matter was before the court and it was litigated long, finally the Honorable Supreme Court in the judgment dated 4th November 2022, especially in the case of Sunil Kumar, this part of this amendment of 2014 has held to be as ultra vires. And in fact, the Honorable High Court has also indicated to the government that one of the possible solution to cover up the deficit is by enhancing the rate of contributions of the employers to EPS. Now the government understood that the EPS, in fact the judgment or the Supreme Court understood that if at all the EPS has to run comfortably and it has to be strengthened, the government, the court understood that there is a requirement of this deficit fund. So this the court left the judgment or the measures to the EPFO department. I will show you the judgment as well. In fact, paragraph 11.4, if you see 44, the paragraph 44.4, the Honorable Supreme Court clearly said that this putting on the employee 1.16% beyond the 15,000 wages, this is held to be ultra vires. But as I said, the court understood the requirement of this additional fund, and this court indicated that this has to be generated through legitimate source and within the scope of the act. And it also indicated this, which could include enhancing the rate of contribution of the employers, and that is where the EPFO is taking the cue from this judgment and has brought these amendments. Actually, the government could have brought the amendment to EPS scheme 1995 and more particularly para 3 and could have increased the contribution of employers in the case of employees who opt for higher pension. But however, the government did not touch the EPF and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952 or also the schemes under this provision. But the government chose to enforce the provisions of Code on Social Security 2020, considering that the codes have to be implemented in the future anyhow. Now the government is looking for opportunities to bring the provisions of the code to see the light of the day for these provisions. And also you may also know that the EPF and Miscellaneous Provisions Act 1952 is actually subsumed into the Code on Social Security 2020, and section 16 of the code talks about the contribution to schemes related to Provident Fund and EPS. And in fact, the subclass 1 of subclass B of subsection 1 of 16 provides for 8.33% contribution to EPS from the employer's contribution, and it also empowers the government to decide this percentage and notify. And the central government, utilizing this power, now notified the revised contribution to EPS in case of employees who opt for higher pension option, in line with the Supreme Court judgment which I already told you. Now let's look into what is this Code on Social Security provision, which I am showing you 16.1. And subclass B, this already says that the contribution to EPS from the employer's contribution, it is 8.33%, and if at all the government wants to change this, the central government has the power to notify these changes. So you can already see here. So therefore, using this power, now the central government has notified this additional contribution of 1.16% in the hands of employer, or the employer contribution currently, which is 8.33%, now it will get to 9.49%. Now that notification number SO2061E is issued on 3rd May 2023. This has changed the employer contribution to EPS to 9.49% instead of 8.33%. But this change does not affect the government contribution of 1.16% up to the wage ceiling of 15,000 EPF wages. And this increased contribution of 1.16% is applicable only to the wages exceeding 15,000 EPF wages. Some people must have wrongly interpreted that this 1.16% is applicable on the entire PF wages. No, it is not like that. It is only for the wages exceeding 15,000 rupees. I'll show you the notification which came on 3rd May 2023. This is SO2061E. This clearly said that this 9.49% for those who opt for higher pension joint option under paragraph 11 of the amended scheme of 19/2014, and this is very clearly, the subclass 2 is very clearly stating that this is for the wages which exceeds 15,000 rupees. And also remember friends, this amendment has got a retrospective effect of first day of 2014. So that means people who are eligible for higher pension option, those who were members before 1/9/2014 and now they opt for this higher pension option, they have to contribute this additional contribution to EPS from 1/9/2014. But however, there is no additional contribution in the hands of employer and also the employee, because the employer has already contributed 12%, and which is 3.67% is sitting in account number 1. Now from 2014 September onwards, to the extent of additional contribution will get adjusted to EPS account, which is account number 10, and going ahead this adjustment also will happen, or this revised contribution will also happen for those people who opt for higher pension option. As I have told you, this change has been brought from the retrospective date. That means for this period, even those people who have retired during this period, they have to contribute this additional contribution. And one more important thing you have to know is the code is actually passed in the year 2020 and it has not been implemented because there's something called appointed date or effective date which is not notified, except only 1 or 2 provisions which are related to identification of people related to Aadhaar. only those are implemented, but the rest of the provisions have not been implemented. Now in order to effect these changes which brought by way of notification, the provisions which are related to EPS and Provident Fund, especially whatever related to these changes, have to be given effective date. So therefore, on 3rd May 2023 itself, the central government appointed the date as 3rd May 2023 for all the provisions which are actually related to the EPS. More particularly, section 15.3 of this Code on Social Security, which powers the government to change the contributions from prospectively or retrospectively. And there is section 16.1a, section 16.1b, 143, 164.1, 164.2b. All these are related to these changes have been made as effective from 3rd May 2023. So now the contribution of employer to EPS is now altered progressively in the case of employees who opt for higher pension. But before that, let me show you also this appointed date notification, this SO 2060E. This clearly says that the appointed date is 3rd day of May 2023 for all these provisions which are especially related to this change, which is related to Employees Provident Fund and Employees Pension Scheme 1995. So this is one of the notification for you. Now, coming back to our journey, this contribution of employer to EPS is now altered progressively in the case of employees who opt for higher pension. And now, instead of crediting 3.67% of EPF wages to PF account number 1, the revised credit will be only 2.51% of the EPF wages, because this 3.67% from the employer contribution was going to account number 1, and you were getting this interest on the balance lump sum which was available in account number 1. Now, from the date of 1/9/2014, this gets adjusted, even including the interest also gets adjusted to EPS account, and your EPF account amount is drastically going to come down. But as I told you, this additional contribution from the employer contribution is only for the wages which exceeds 15,000 rupees. Now let me take a simple example. Suppose your salary today or whatever the date is 25,000 rupees, that is EPF wages. Now the employee contributes at 12%, which works out to 3,000 rupees, and this will directly go to EPF account. Now how the adjustment will happen from the employer contribution? Employer is also contributing this equal percentage of 12%, and this will also work out 3,000 rupees. Now the EPS contribution at 8.33% up to 15,000 wages is 1,250, which is already limited. Now EPS contribution of 9.49% on wages exceeding 15,000, which is the difference wages is 10,000 rupees, that will work out 949 rupees. Therefore, the revised contribution from the employer contribution to EPS will be 2,199. So if you work out this 2,199 to total wages, this will work out to 8.33%. But this percentage, if you work out this 2,199 to wages 25,000, this will be 8.80% of your wages will go to EPS instead of 8.3% regular. Now, the higher the wages, your EPF wages, then higher is the EPF contribution and the percentage. But let me demonstrate you through one simple example. See, here I have shown you this EPF monthly wages. I have taken examples of 25,000 to 2.5 lakhs. Now, 25,000 example I have already told you, 8.33% for 15K is 1,250, which is already done. Then 9.49% for wages beyond 15K is 949. So you are going to contribute 2,199 if at all your salary is more than 15,000 rupees. Now this will work out to 8.80%. Now take an example of higher wages. This percentage of contribution to EPS we will increase progressively, and of course this cannot be more than 9.49%, but it will somewhere the wages increases, it will get settled down by 9.42 or 9.43%. So higher the wages, the higher the percentage of contributions, up to 9.49% will be hit on your side. Now friends, these are the examples which I gave you. Now let me tell you that this, I've already told you that this change will be from 1/9/2014, and you also have to remember that the interest you earned on this difference wages will also be transferred to the EPS account. So this is what is important. Now, having told all this information, friends, you also have to think, is higher pension is still beneficial for employees? Now, let me tell you, the pension formula is pensionable salary into pensionable service divided by 70, and in the normal cases it is already calculated on pro rata basis, and the higher pension cases will also be in the same logic and not the last 60 months average. You must be thinking that the last 60 months average, they will take it as pensionable salary into your service divided by 70, they will give you the decide the pension. No, it will not be like this. When I told you in the case of normal pension it is based on pro rata basis, how can you expect that the last 60 months wages will be considered for pension calculation in your pension cases? In fact, in the first circular of the EPFO, they have told that they will clarify how do they calculate, but they have not so far come back. But this is going to come, the clarity is going to come on this, and what I told you is this will be based on a pro rata basis depending on your salaries from 1/9/2014 or even much before that. So based on that, there certain slabs calculations will be there that is going to come. So therefore, friends, don't think that it is very highly beneficial for you, and this is going to cost you more money depending on what is the loss and what is the gain you are having. You have to conclude whether to opt for a higher pension or not. And recently this the EPFO department has increased or extended the date of joint option in the online up to 26 June 2023. So if you feel that it is beneficial for you, you still have a time. So before I sign off, let me show you the EPFO circulars. Recently the EPFO in fact brought two circulars for their regional offices on 4th May 2023. They have talked about this implementation date of these provisions of the Code on Social Security, and also one more circular which they have also talked about this increase of contributions from 1.16% from the date of first day of 2014. So this is an education for all the regional offices so that they will be aware, and when these applications comes, they have to act as per these notifications and implementation point of view. Thank you, friends. So far you have watched my video. This is quite longer, but if you see from the beginning to last, you are going to understand exactly what is this point all about it. If this channel is being educating you and giving you more knowledge and value addition, please subscribe this channel and also share it to your friends and colleagues, and I will see you in the next video with new information, friends.
Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.